it's Sarah from Makeaway Life Coaching. I'm the life coach here, and I just wanted to check back in with you about a topic we'll call parenting during the pandemic. I'm going to be honest with you. I posted our first video on Monday with the best of intentions. I thought I'm going to post, we have all these questions coming in from our viewers and our listeners, and like, how do you handle this? And I was like, this is so great. I'll just do one video every single day. And that was Monday. And then the wheels came off of the week. This hostage homeschooling that we're all being subjected to got like super hard. If I'm honest, I went into a malaise. I started kind of tuning in a lot to the news, which feeds my anxious brain. I run toward the anxious side. And sometimes my anxious brain, I just give into it and I'm like, oh, I'm going to watch all the press conferences and I'm going to watch all the news, even though I know that is going to result in me going into a funk. So that's where I've been the last couple days. And now I'm back. Took a shower, washed my hair after a week. Thank you very much. That's actually a record in my life. Shaved my legs. Boy, do I feel human again. So welcome back to the Human Life Coaching channel. I'm Sarah. I'm your guide. Okay, it's Thursday. We all have to give ourselves extra grace during this craziness, okay? The feelings are going to come and they can be overwhelming. I know I have spent the last few days feeling super overwhelmed. I stopped exercising. And then I was like, you know what, Sarah? This is not, let's life coach yourself a little bit. This is not who you want to be and how you want to handle this. It's not going to make it better. So I woke up the next day and got back on the horse and went back on my jogging, and I didn't take a shower, which I should have because my hair was gross. But anyway, I did all the other things, and I got back to eating right. And that, boy, that gives me a sense of control compared to just snacking on pirate booty all day. That it's really good for my mental health right now because we don't have a lot of control. So it's good to create the illusion of control. Or actually, it really is exerting control over what we're eating, how we're moving, all of these things. So here I am, it's Thursday. Let's get back into parenting in the pandemic. Okay, we had a wonderful question from a viewer about how to talk to kids about what's happening right now. And no matter who you talk to, therapists, child development people, they're all going to have different opinions about this. Here's where I come down. I think kids are really smart. They know that this is stressful. You don't have to say a thing, okay? Think back to when you were a kid. You knew when your parents are fighting, whether they told you or not. And they don't have to yell in front of you. You can just sense the feeling in the room, okay? So the kids already know what's going on. They may not understand it. We may not understand it. Does anyone do the politicians understand it? I don't know. Okay, so how are the kids going to understand it? Well, they're not. But we can talk to them. And here's what I really want to warn you about. Be aware of your own issues going into this conversation, okay? I can refer you back to our previous videos from the How We Love book series. How We Love is an amazing book that will change your life. It will also change your relationship. And what it does is it talks about that there's these various imprints, and it's comes from childhood. It's really powerful because it is how you are in the world, and it is how you are in relationships. So go back and watch those if you really want to learn something during this pandemic about yourself, make yourself a better person. Also buy the book, it's amazing. But here's the thing. If you're an avoider, then you don't like uncomfortable conversations. You hate conflict. You're not super comfortable, honestly, with emotions or connection. So if you're an avoider and you are parenting in a pandemic, your default response is going to be like, everything's fine. And the kids are going to be like, why were you crying and eating pirate booty? And you'll be like, oh no, I'm fine. Everything's fine. But everything's not fine. Okay? Let's not lie to our kids. Let's not lie to ourselves. So that's one default position you need to be aware of. It could be that you're a pleaser. And pleasers, in order to control their own kind of anxiety, they go out of their way to make everything hunky-dory for other people. And that's, fine most of the time. But you have to be careful about that, okay? It's okay for this situation we're in to suck. And it's okay to let it be hard, because it is hard, okay? There's no amount of baking that's going to make this better. And so you just have to like accept it and then be able to convey that to your kids. Okay. If you're like me, then that would make you a vacillator. We're super comfortable with feeling, maybe a little too much comfortable with like, woo, roller coasters, feelings all day long. The more feeling, the better. So when I am talking to my kids as things come up, oftentimes, because I'm a vacillator, the conversation will be sparked by I either lost my temper with, I lost my temper with them. That's happening at least once a day because I'm just overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed by having them here 24/7. I'm overwhelmed by their bickering. I'm overwhelmed by the situation. I'm overwhelmed by all of it. Okay. So in me, that manifests as like snapping. It's not great, but I'm working on it. We all have our flaws. And so a lot of times that'll actually spark a conversation where I'll go to my kids and be like, I'm sorry that I snapped at you. I've just been feeling really overwhelmed by this pandemic and by the fact that you guys bicker 24/7 and I don't get a break now during the school day. So I'm going to do a better job to put in boundaries to protect my mental health. Even with you guys here, I can do that. I know that, so that I don't lash out at you in frustration. And then that usually prompts them to be like, what are you stressed about? And they know there's a pandemic, but we can have a great conversation about the unknowns and how I'm processing it. And so those are great. Okay. So just be aware of what you're walking into the situation with. We don't want to make our issues our kids' issues. And so you can own your tendency might be, if you're an avoider, to avoid and act like everything's fine, which is going to be confusing for kids because unless you have them living under a rock, they kind of know things aren't okay right now. And they're definitely not normal. They're not going to school. They don't have their routine. Okay. If you're a pleaser, you might just be so uncomfortable with their feelings and your feelings that I don't know how you're going to cope with that, but just realize you can kind of slow down and stop doing so much and honor the feelings that your kid is having, not the ones you want them to have, and be comfortable with that. Okay. It's really healthy for your kid to be like, this is horrible. And they might get mad and they might get super sad and you just kind of need to ride the wave. If you're a vacillator, be careful, like not to give them too much information because that's overwhelming and it's not healthy. And nothing on the news is for the children right now. So be aware of that also. Okay, how do you talk to your kids? You be honest. Rule number 1 on any difficult conversation, and I have had some very difficult conversations with my kids, okay? I don't want to go into details right now. It's too much. But you never lie to your kids. Okay, don't tell them it's fine. If it's, if grandpa's terminally ill in a hospital and he's not coming home, then don't tell them he's going to be fine. Because temporary sugarcoating to save your feelings is not going to help them in the long run. So be honest in an age-appropriate way. You know what that means for your kid. If you don't know what that means, then send me a DM on Facebook or Makeway or leave a comment below the YouTube video or email me, sarah@makeawaylifecoaching.com, and I can help you a little bit more for your kid. I have a 13-year-old and a 9-year-old boy, and so obviously my conversation with each of them is different. I don't want to go into all the details now, but you probably know your kid well enough to know what they can handle and what's age appropriate. Here's the ringer. At the end of it, bring yourself and your children back to what is, okay? Right now, it's easy because we don't know what tomorrow holds or the future, okay? It's easy to get really focused on what if, and the kids are probably going to ask you, what if one of the grandparents gets sick? What if you lose your job? What if you already did and you never get another job, okay? What if? Well, here's a really healthy thing. This is a gift you can give your kids right now that will keep on giving for the rest of their lives. Be really honest with them and say, the reality is we don't know what the future holds. We do know that Jesus told us not to worry about tomorrow because there's enough to worry about today. So remember that, cling to that, and teach your children that. So as we get off into what ifs, just be very honest and say, we don't know what tomorrow holds, but you know what we do know? Right now, in this moment, we're okay. Maybe you lost your job and you're scared financially, but the fact is, if you're all in a home and you're healthy, then you're okay right now. And that's what you want to convey to them. Bring them back away from what if, bring them back to what is. Okay, it's biblical, like I just said, and it's really healthy for your mental health, for everybody. And it's just a gift to give to the kids. Don't focus on what you can't control in the future because you don't even know what. For instance, back in December or November before all this started, did anyone even know to worry about this? Okay, I'm like the queen of anxiety and worry and planning. I had no idea to worry about this. None of us did because it didn't even exist until the end of the year. So this is just a really good example. Let's not worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to have troubles of its own. Bring them back to what is and just really end with a reassuring message. Yes, it's a scary time because I'm just picking an example. Grandma, is sick and we don't even know if she has a coronavirus, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to pray for her because we know that God can heal. And then we're going to bring back to what is. Right now, she's okay. Right now, we're okay. We're all together and that's all we need. And we know God is looking out for us. Okay. So that would be my recommendation, how to talk to your kids. Number one, own your tendencies that are not healthy so that you don't just keep passing those down to the next generations. And then number two, be honest with them in a gentle way. Do not lie and do not sugarcoat what's going on. And then number three, bring them back to what is, okay? In the moment, we can handle what's happening in the moment. We can't handle when we're thinking 3 days in advance or 2 weeks or 3 years, okay? But we can handle what's happening right now. So let's do what Jesus said and just think about, not worry about today, but just think about today because you can handle today, okay? They have that saying in AA, one day at a time, and that is what we all need to be focusing on. Getting through today and letting our kids know we can get through today, and that's all we need to do because tomorrow is just today when it arrives. I hope you are staying well. If you have anything like parenting issues, after this, we're going to do a marriage series because I know there's some marriage stuff coming up. I'm hearing about it and I'm also sensing it in the people who aren't talking about it. So if you have anything you'd like me to talk about, then just let me know. DM on Facebook or Instagram. Those are private. I'm the only one who reads them. I will never reveal your identity, obviously. You can also email me, sarah@makeawaylifecoaching.com. And if you need some self-care tips, I made a beautiful list of self-care by the 4 quadrants. If you don't know what I mean, look back a couple weeks ago on my videos and on the podcast because we talked about the 4 quadrants of well-being. You need to know those and you need to be tapping into all 4 of those. And my list is available for new subscribers. So go ahead and subscribe. The website is makeawaylifecoaching.com. I hope, like I said, that you stay well and take care of yourself. And we will see you back here next time. Bye-bye.